here with my guests today, who I'm super excited to meet, Ketiwe and Tafadzwa from Zimsecond, the game. How are you guys?
We're good.
Yeah?
We're so excited.
Do you just want to introduce yourself quickly for the people?
Okay, so we're Zimsecond, family board game. We're husband and wife. It's my husband, Tafadzwa. Can you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, my name is Tafadzwa Mapie Senem. So I'm part of the Zimsecond board game team, age 29, approaching 30. Thank you.
Oh no, great. Thank you so much for making the time. I'm super excited. I know you guys have a crazy schedule and that you're not going to be around for a while. So thank you for joining us and joining our platform, and I'm super excited to get started. So I thought it would be a nice idea to talk about entrepreneurship in this economy, and just overall looking at how people with like different, hustles, side hustles, are sort of navigating the circumstances, not just with like the economic hardships, but also like personally, are there things that get in the way or make it difficult to have a small business?
Yep.
Something that you enjoy, those kinds of things. I know I was talking to Tafadzwa a little bit earlier, like the mood when you're doing like your full-time job and then like the side hustle that you actually enjoy is so different.
Very different.
I can definitely relate to that. Anyone who knows me knows how I feel about my job. But we'll leave it at that. So my first question for you guys is, what prompted you to tap into this industry specifically?
If I could answer that.
You can.
So basically we want to celebrate the sportswomen, the sportsmen within the Zim economy. So did you know, just a few did you knows, we have got the Golden Girls that won the Olympic Games in 1980. We also have got Casey Coventry, who won us gold during the 2004 Olympics. So we want to celebrate these great sportsmen and women for the great achievements that they did for carrying our Zim flag at the highest level.
Yeah.
So I want to celebrate that. And also just a few did you knows, we have got Dominic Benura, who did well, or is doing well within the arts industry. Captains of industry have got the late Douglas Monazzi. So we want to celebrate these people so that their names don't just die down with the history. We want to celebrate them even when they are late for the great accomplishments that they did for our country. So we decided to come up with this board game for even Zimbabweans in the diaspora to tap into their homesickness when they miss home. If they play this game, they can get to feel that they're still part of Zimbabwe, even if they're in the UK. So I decided to come up with this board game, and it's fun if we can put it out there.
Well, I'll just add that I think there's just so much negativity around Zim. There's just mentioning that you are Zimbabwean in some circles is just like, ugh. Because then people want to ask, how do people survive? How do people live? And there's so much more to it than the economy, than the droughts, than all the political drama. There's so much to Zim. Yeah. But once you mention Zimbabwe, everybody just goes onto this swing of negativity. And we just wanted to move people away from that and introduce something that people can actually get to spend time with anybody of any age, and you can actually interact with it and learn more. Before I met him, I didn't know who the hell Bruce Grobler was. I didn't know who Moses. Yeah, you don't know who that is. And he's great. He was like one of the best goalkeepers in the world. He played for Zimbabwe and he played for Liverpool. How do I know that? Zimsecond. There's your Moses. It's not just sports, but because he loves sport, I might actually be more towards sport. But there's like locations and things and people that have done so many amazing things, and they just dwindle away into history. They literally just disappear, and there isn't a record. We need like our own Guinness Book of Zimbabwean records, and this is what exactly Zimsecond is. Just tapping into that greatness and moving away from negativity. There is negativity. There's all sorts of challenges, but that's not all Zimbabwe is all about. There's so much that's great. There's even people like Gringo and Mbuziadura and Namtiro Afanza. Those are stories that are so real to our parents and to people from like 1980s and whatever, but they've disappeared into history, and we just want to keep a record of that. And allow families to have time to interact, have fun, and I think this is it. It's a great tool, I think.
That's really beautiful. And for anyone who doesn't know, Zimsecond is kind of like 30 seconds, like the game, but it's just got trivia and general knowledge from Zimbabwe. I haven't played the game myself, unfortunately, but I have seen some of your cards on social media, and I feel like I know nothing. Like, there are a few things, but I'm just like, who is that? What is that? What context is it?
Yeah.
And I think it speaks to like a bigger issue in our country where our history is taught in a certain way. People aren't celebrated as they should be. And I mean, I grew up during, the urban grooves era. And it's kind of sad when you think of where those artists ended up. I know not everyone is as relevant or gets as much recognition as I think they should. I mean, that's an issue with people in the arts industry, like world over. When I think about it, sometimes you hear a song on the radio or whatever it is, and you're just like, whoa, like, do you remember this time? This person was really talented. And it's such a pity that all the situations in Zim happen and we can't fully celebrate people who've done great things. So I think that's such a beautiful idea for the game and such a great way to think about it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know anything. So I probably learned a lot.
You would actually. We have like over 200 cards, and on each there's five things across different things: landscape, geography, sports, arts, culture. Everything. There's just everything. Actually, to just go back to the point earlier, there was a video that went viral a few weeks ago. Some Zimbabwean footballer who now packs bag at Park Station, and he apparently in his time he was one of the greatest. And he's just disappeared. I mean, you could just walk past him like you would any other individual without knowing that this is a great person. And I think at the absence of role models, the absence of people that somebody can look up to makes us mediocre because you have no record of what greatness is. When we look at when you see people, you're just like, oh, it's just an ordinary person, but they're not. There's so much you can learn from them. There's so much that they put into be who they are, and we just need to acknowledge that. And once you acknowledge that, it just gives the person pride. It gives the person like a sense of pride and just something that they know that I did this and I accomplished it and I was great at it and I made a mark. And it's being acknowledged.
And I guess it forces people to learn.
It does.
So as far as when you created the game, you had this idea and it was an idea people were already quite familiar with, like the idea of a trivia game, general knowledge, all of those things. Did you struggle at all to gain access to create a market or access to an existing market?
I'll take that. I think we did. When we actually started, we've been toying with the idea for a longest time, and then came lockdown, and we're just stuck at home, and we actually saw it to completion. But when we're creating it wasn't for a market, it was for us. It was just to create something that we can do. Now in a lockdown, we had nothing to do. We had literally done everything that you could do. Baked, watched our wedding video, DIY'd, and there was just nothing else we could do. But so we then had friends over and we played it with them and they just loved it. And then they asked for a copy. We gave them a copy, and then people that we know moved it for us. And we actually did a survey to just find out how people got to know about the game. It turned out that most of the people, it's because they knew us. That's how they know the game. It's not a product that's out there. And we've tried to push the social media, and we've had a few people that are what do you call them? Celebs or twelebs, or people that have influence that have been like, we can push it for you, but we want a fixed charge, like $5,000. We have never made that much money. I don't know. we cannot do that.
I'm going to come back to you guys. That's a whole other episode.
Unfortunately, we would appreciate the service. We can't owner up to it because we don't have we don't have the funds. So getting it out has been a bit, there's only a small percentage of Zimbabweans that are active on social media,
Yeah.
that have access to social media, and that's our means of getting it out there. And we use it as maximally as we can. Maximally, I just made a word up. as to the best as we can. So that's been a challenge. How to get it outside of people that we know first.
Yeah.
Second, people that don't have social media. Word of mouth works, but it takes a while.
Yeah.
It takes a while.
I can imagine, especially with trying to get access to a creator market, with Zimbabweans, not everyone has expendable income.
Yes.
And outside of, after taking care of your basic needs, the last thing you think about is getting a game.
Yeah.
As influential or as great as the game might be, that's not usually on the people's top priority.
Yes.
And like you've mentioned, not everyone has access to social media.
Yeah.
And I think that because we spend so much time on social media, it feels like everyone knows everything that's going on.
Yeah.
But practically, I'm guessing that's not the case.
It's not the case.
Yeah.
It's not the case. It's far from the case.
Yeah. Okay. So so that would probably be the biggest challenge, is like entering like a market.
As well as, so we're not in the printing business, but our game is printing.
100%.
So it's 100% printing. We just the people that have the content, but to get the content out there is a lot of printing. There's the cards, the boards, the box, the labels, everything. The timers. So initially when we started, our goal was that everything will be Zimbabwean. Everything will be made in Zim by Zimbabweans, everything. But the costs were just so ridiculous that even a working person wouldn't be able to afford the game, which then made it pointless, because if it's only going to be for a certain market, we're not going to get anywhere. Yes, we've lost the platform. So we had to explore outside, but we tried to work with as many Zimbabweans as we can. I don't know how best we could work around. I don't know, because I'm sure even for printers as well, they have their own day-to-day costs, and they will have to pass that on to somebody. And in that case, it was us, and we would have to pass it on to our customers. So we tried to limit that. So that was a big challenge, finding resources that are affordable, because we don't want to make it not available.
Exclusive.
Exclusive. Yeah. So we don't want to make it a premium product. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a premium product. And I think the other issue was courier, getting it out. I'm not going to answer to that one.
So with logistics, I think that was the other main issue that we had, because when we saw the game, we get someone who's like, I'm interested, but I'm in Rusape or I'm in Kadoma. And now looking at how Zimbabweans are all over their diaspora, we've got people from Poland who have been requesting the game. So how do we get the game to Poland was part of the other issues that we had. Because if we now try to factor courier into it, if we bring DHL into it, this pushes the cost of the game way higher, 2-3 times more than buying the game. So logistics has been an issue. If we can get a way around that, I think we'll be somewhere. If we can get ambassadors who are willing to sell it for us, who are in Rusape or in Chendambuya, the odd places. We want to get to the odd places like your Binga, because it's a game not only for Shoners. We want to also celebrate the minor cultures that are out there. I was shocked when I was at Park Station the other day when someone was like, I'm a Chitonga. I was like, I've never heard of this culture before, but it's like I'm Zimbabwean and I'm Chitonga. So we want to celebrate those cultures and put it out there so that people just recognize that there's not only Shona on Ndebele, but there's also these minor cultures that are out there.
Okay, and I think that's a nice segue into something I also wanted to explore, which was when creating the game. Of course, your inspiration was making Zimbabwe known. And I think this also ties into some of your logistical issues. A lot of the information is centralized. If it's not in a major city, it's hard to get anything. A lot of businesses that start here are very limited to your Harare, Blair, or and it's hard to get there are so many towns, so many places in between, but also culturally. There are different groups of people that do not get much recognition. Of course, their languages will be recognized in the Constitution, all of those sort of things, but it's not part of, personally, I didn't learn a lot about the other minority groups in Zimbabwe. I didn't learn or was exposed to those cultures.
Yeah.
Even meeting Ndebele people, admittedly, when I was in high school, was just like, oh yeah, you guys are there, right?
Yes,
You know,
yeah.
'cause
True.
that's the way the knowledge is, you know, disseminated. That's for various reasons. It's that way. But how important was cultural inclusion in your game, in creating your game? Did you make a conscious effort to go out and find out about other things, or was it something that sort of came on as you know, as more people started getting feedback, or as just, you know, word started getting out about the game?
We made intentional effort to include other groups apart from Shona, because Shona is a very dominant group in Zim. So we made a lot of intentional effort to go and find out about places in Matebeleland, places in Beitbridge, places in Mutare. We actually, there's some cards that I'm like, okay, I remember Googling that, but I have no idea what that is. So when you do play the game with us, we don't know all of the things. Yeah. Well, we probably do. It's just that we just have to revive that memory that's sitting somewhere.
Yeah.
We made a lot of intentional effort. If you go through the cards, you find places like Ngai, your Lupanes, Chilonga, there's, you know, everybody knows the Great Zimbabwe Ruins?
Yes.
There's the Kami Ruins, with just as much history. There's actually drawings in there from God knows when.
Yeah.
And we focus on the big things, and we forget there's your Batoka Gorges, there's so much that, so many great things that are in other parts of Zimbabwe outside of your Harare, and I think even for people that are playing, if you didn't know, it's a great way of finding out. You might then actually want to go and see it. Why? You probably want to look it up and just see what it's all about. So we made a lot of intentional efforts to put it there, and we hope that when people are playing, they are enlightened. They know that there's this also. And they'll make intentional effort to go explore, find out, be part. But we put in a lot of effort to be inclusive. We had, when we saw that there was a lot of interest, we actually had one of our friends who's she's Ndebele, but she also speaks Shona, which is the default for most Ndebele people that they would speak both languages. To just go through it, and she was just like, I don't even know some of these places. And it's not just Ndebele, it's other places like Muntare. There's a whole place. I don't know if you watch Karanganda TV on YouTube, but there's a whole Zimbabwe that side that we just we need a lot more people going into these places and bringing it to light, because we are so caught up in our own small circles that we think that this is it, but it isn't. There's so much more, and we're not closed out to getting feedback from people. So if anybody plays a game and they're like, okay, you guys said you put a lot of effort into being inclusive, I didn't see this, we are open to adding it on. It's not that once it's done it's fixed and it's set in stone. No, we will always increase cards. We want to get as much as possible on the cards. So if somebody feels that no, you didn't include this is not there, this is a big part of Zim, but it's not there, we've got listening ears. We've got very listening ears, and it's joint efforts to get everybody known, everybody recognized.
Exactly.
Even looking at totems, the popular ones is Mofu, Shumba, but there's the minor totems like Humba. I'd never heard of the Humba tribe before, but then Zim, there's the Humba.
Do you know the Humba?
I know one person
who's Humba.
the totem, and it's purely because she's also active on social media.
Okay.
That's the only reason. It's what you guys are doing. It's putting it
out
there.
there.
Like, no, this is a totem. This is a group of people.
True.
Yeah.
If, for those that do not know, Humba is a Wathog.
In the Simboti, there's also the Simboti. So all these are minor groups which are not really recognized. Even if you go to the Ndebele people, there's Love More Majaivana. A lot of Shonas, they might not know who's Love More Majaivana. There's Albert Nyati. All these people, as Zimbabweans, whether you're Shona or Ndebele, we need to celebrate these people. And even the minority places like Chendambuya, I doubt that there's 50% of Zimbos know where Chendambuya is, or Binga, where's Binga? So we need to celebrate and know where these places are.
You are so fixated on Binga.
It looks like a beautiful place. It looks like
And it's known as backward, so...
I think, yeah, no, it honestly looks like such a nice place to go to.
True.
So I understand the fixation.
Yeah.
And I find it really great and interesting how you guys wanting to really bring more knowledge and I guess appreciation about the Zimbabweans' history, culture, and everything. Because I think for a lot of us, a lot of people grew up with the focus of leaving the country.
Yes.
That it's always pretty bad. And it's not to say it's easy, but we know so much about other places. Granted, our education system is very, colonialized, very anglicized. But I think we put a lot of focus on leaving.
Yes.
A lot of focus on, well, I don't want to be here for various reasons. Outside of like the economy, some people may feel like their rights are not recognized, so I need to leave somewhere else. So why would I need to have a connection, to this place? And I think what's interesting and what I really appreciate about your game and what you guys are doing is just, I guess, making people aware that even outside of all of the issues and outside of all of the things we can find problematic about the cultures we do know about, there's other things to explore. I'm not going to say that I have any desire to move to a rural area, but just knowing that there are places, other cultures, other people who are actually living outside of what we out of Harare, what we know of as Zimbabwe, or outside of a major city. I'm not saying people should move there or do anything or infiltrate those groups or do anything like that, but just, I guess, being aware of that Zimbabwean culture, although it's the majority, is not just what we feel like is the stifling culture that's in a lot of urban settings, that we quickly paint a brush to be like, gosh, Shona people, Harare people, whatever. Harare people have got issues, but we're not the only group that's out there. So I really appreciate that, and I think your game definitely would be doing that, because like I said, I'll look at a card and be like, where is that? what is that? And our country feels very small.
True.
So that's really great. And overall, so if you have your job in the formal sector and you have this other project happening informally as like a side hustle, something you're doing as a passion project as well, in balancing those things, like as young people, as people, obviously you'd want your game to grow. You'd want as many people to have access to it as possible, and also just have like a successful business. Aside from putting it together with the logistics, what would you say is the biggest challenge in balancing or hustling? Like, you have your job and then you have this hustle, and I imagine both are like on your mind quite often. What's the biggest challenge you would say is with that?
I think with side hustles, I don't know, I did biology a long time ago, but I know that there's a parasite. There's parasites that are good for you. There's bacteria that's good for you. But it's still bacteria. I would say that side hustles are that bacteria. It's good bacteria, because, like, for me, I work 9 to 5, and I start Zimsecond after work. But I'll be so exhausted at 5, and all of a sudden when I start putting my mind to Zimsecond, I just have this rejuvenation, this new energy that just bursts out of nowhere, and it's just so exciting. The balance might might tilt a bit, that I might then prioritize getting the Zimsecond stuff out over spending time with you, or doing something outside of balancing work and balancing Zimsecond. But it's just all so exciting. It's so exciting. It just gives you this freedom, this joy that you just want to get the best thing out there. You want to put in all your effort, everything into it. And I think what has worked for us is putting in those parameters at 9 to 5 work.
It's 9 to
You are
5.
employed. Do your job. When you are done, focus on this. And I think for anybody else that in this, that drawing lines is very important, and being conscious of when you are crossing them, because you might then neglect important things that bring in the cheese. So side hustles are, you just need to give it, you don't want to neglect it as well. You don't want it to pass through, you don't want your neglect to then pass through to your customers, that when they get the thing they're like, oh, what is this? Yeah. So your passion, whatever you put in is a reflection to whoever you get, to the reflection to your customers. That's what is reflected. And I would not leave my job yet for Zimsecond, but sometimes I'm just like, can I just do this all the time? Can I just like be at it the whole time? What's your challenge?
With me, the main challenge is, so we're not big on social media, myself and Ketiwe, before we started Zimsecond. And we realized that marketing is key. If you want to put our product out there so that it's known, marketing is key. We have to open an Instagram account. We have to go on Facebook. We have to go on Twitter, so that we market our game to the broader Zim community. And so now we've learned so much with regards to how to operate Instagram. We now know how to do a real video. thanks to Zimsecond.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not very good at that.
So that was the main challenge, social media. But now you get to enjoy it. Now we hooked on social media. Everywhere we go, we want to know if there's a Wi-Fi hotspot, so that we can just post our product out there. So yeah.
Yeah, I think we try and include it almost anyway. Actually, one of my friends sent me a message, she's like, oh, I was waiting to see. So we traveled here for a wedding. And then she's like, I just knew that you're going to use this trip to fish a Zimsecond somehow, and I was just waiting for that. And this whole time we've been here, we've just been taking pictures and
with Zimsecond.
And actually, one of the things that we've been wanting to do is to go across Zimbabwe and take pictures of those things. So the things on the cards, take a picture of it, put it out there so that people know. When you see it, you become familiar with it, and you have your light bulb moment. Oh, that's what that is. That's what that is. Because sometimes you know the names, but you don't even know what the thing is or what the person looks like. So hopefully one day we'll be able to do. Yes,
Sounds like
please.
fun.
Yes,
That
please.
sounds like so much fun. I think a lot of people talk about how we want to travel and see Zim more and everything.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes the cost is just, yeah.
I see.
Yeah, it's
It's
but I think the group ideas can
definitely
distribute.
distribute the cost.
Exactly. And do you think that some of the challenges you do face with like balancing work and doing all of those things, and especially with how unique your product is, do you think those are like common for other entrepreneurs, other people doing side hustles, or is there anything like specifically unique to your situation that can't be applied to other Zimbabweans, or is everyone just in the struggle?
Everybody's in the struggle. The struggles might be different, but we all have challenges, and challenges are good. They strengthen you. They bring out other qualities of you that you didn't know. I say qualities because they are qualities. Good or bad, they are still qualities. I think for us, we have moments where things are quiet and nothing is happening. And then all of a sudden, everybody wants Zimsecond, and we run out, and then we print again. But then when you print this time, because we print in small numbers, as the people come, you can't get the same stuff that you did the last time because there's limited quantities, or there's just something else happening. So now you have to improvise, make a plan, and also currencies. There's challenges in side hustles, but you keep fighting. You have to keep at it. Nothing comes out of giving up. So you just have to give it your all. Sometimes it does get exhausting. There'll be people that are interested, and then they're like, oh, I've changed my mind, or this has happened, or but challenges come. We you keep at it. You keep at it.
Mm.
Yeah, but people are very supportive, and people given criticisms and good feedback as well. It's tough to look at it as input that you can then feed back into your product and improve. So challenges they're part of the nobody has a smooth sailing journey.
Zimbabweans are a hard audience to please. Everyone has a problem.
Everybody has something to say. Yes,
something. So
everybody wants their own thing in their own way.
Yeah.
But we have to agree on whatever criteria we're working on at the moment and find the best way to get it, and then move at it at our pace. Because once we try and hear every voice, you blow up. You just reach boiling point and nothing happens from there. So you listen to stuff with a strainer. Some of the stuff goes in, some doesn't. Yeah, you have to, and I think it's only healthy too. So yeah, that's been our journey. We still young. We're still young. We're still fresh in the market. I guess our Zimsecond is still in our honeymoon phase. Yeah. So people have been good to us and been kind. Yeah. And we're very appreciative of that. How we've gotten most of the people is through word of mouth. So it's people that are moving it for us, and we're grateful for that. So if people have something to say, we have to listen, because they are our market, they are our everything. So a listening ear is helpful. And we talk about the posts, the Zimbabwe Post Service. If that could work also, that's a big challenge, because then we have to use unconventional, sometimes inconvenient ways to get it from one point to another. Because and then it sort of takes away from the product, because there's a lot of effort into getting it. If we could do away with that, I can't wait for a day where somebody just walks into TM or K or Pick and Pay now. Somebody can walk into Pick and Pay and see it and like, oh, what is this? And pick it off the shelf. If there was a lot more platform for creators to make that product, to make their products available for people to see, then there'll be a lot less pandering or hustling to get your products known. If big corporates all give listening ears to small businesses and how they can support, it'll make a big difference. It'll make a big difference for us, because I know we're going back to that logistics bit, but it's a big part of our business. Imagine if Munane Berorage was selling clothes. If they had a formal platform to sell it, it would make a big difference to their appeal, to everything, because then a lot of people are just then forced to have it maybe in the back of their room or in some other not pleasing manner. So those are part of the challenges that I think we face. I think we and other people, not just us, face platforms to showcase their products, and a lot more, what do you call those markets? Markets would be great, things where people can interact, showcase grand ideas, and not just limited to the premium circles, but day-to-day people, not Mbare levels, not that there's anything wrong with Mbare market, but allowing people with genius ideas a platform where it's just them to showcase.
Exactly. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And just to close off everything, are there any hacks that you can share that could be helpful for young entrepreneurs in Zimbabwe? I also know you guys aren't based here, so running a business, I imagine where your primary market is here, but you are outside. I believe that aside from logistics also puts its own challenges, but like you're saying, it would be nice to be able to be here all the time and just taking your game everywhere. But are there any like helpful things for entrepreneurs in general, but also for people who look to marketing things back here at home that aren't based at home?
I think we've been privileged with exposure. We've seen how things can work, how things can be successful. And I think for anybody that's outside of Zimbabwe, we owe it to them to bring in what we have seen back home. We owe it to people here to show them that this actually works. This is how we can do it better. Just bringing in all that knowledge, all that skill back here. I think it'd be a great thing if we could just harness the skills and the exposures and the experiences that people outside of Zimbabwe have gotten over the years. And a lot of people have been wherever they are for 20 plus years. That knowledge will be so valuable here. In whatever way that you can find to showcase that here would be really useful. Hacks wise, not giving up. Not giving up. Relationships with people are important. Interact with people, understand what they want. And I think also finding our ideas should be solutions or things that we're excited about, and less how can I make money. What's making people money now? What can I do to make money? Because it's exhausting. It's exhausting because you might get into it because it's making other people money, but it doesn't make money for you. So then what do you do then? Finding solutions to things, creating something that somebody would just look at and like, oh, why didn't I think of that? Oh, I've always needed this, but I just didn't know. We need to be creators. We need to find solutions to day-to-day problems, and I think that's what Zim needs right now. Solutions and answers and things that are outside the box. We always laugh about how when somebody's selling chickens at this house, seems like the whole street then starts selling chickens. If they sell chickens, maybe I should sell the food.
Exactly.
Yeah, the chicken food.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then we create something that's functional because an ecosystem where it's beneficial for everybody. Less competition. I think business itself has moved away from being a competitive environment to how can we create value together. How can, odd things, Land Rover works with Apple to make their car a premium product, They're not competing, they're finding out, they're sitting down with Apple and say, okay, how can we make your product premium? How can we create value for you while it's creating value for us? And I think we're just working together. We've had people that's been helpful to us. Actually, we met one of the guys, who is selling another game, Zimopoly. He's actually quite instrumental into giving us contacts and assisting us, and then that's really helpful. Like, we're not competing on any level, we're creating value together, and I think that's really important. Making relationships, sustainable relationships, and also not ripping people off. Give value for money is important. When the person has whatever they've received from you, let them see what the spend was. Let them have the value that you've ascribed to your product. I think that's really important. And also I'll go back to that, not giving up, because we almost did. We almost just let it go, and we kept on trying, and it eventually worked. So don't give up, don't lose hope. Some days are not easy, some days are hard, but you become harder. You have to give it everything you've got. You have to give it everything you've got.
And just to add, I think as entrepreneurs, we always tell ourselves that I'm not yet ready, or the product is not yet like a finished product. But what I'll say is just that. Just that. I remember when we started, we were like, we're not ready, we don't have the funds. But just that, you don't know who's going to support you and where the support is going to come from. Just a fun fact, my own mother, she joined like an old high school group, told the people in that WhatsApp group that my son has developed a board game and it's going to be fun, play it. And she has been describing stuff on that cards to high school friends, and the support has been amazing. I remember one of the high school mates was like, I don't know how to play this game, but I want to buy 5 copies of this, So just that, you don't know where your support is going to come from. And you always, I think, modify your product as you go. So just that. Yeah.
I think also to add on to that, I think we have to move away from having expectation on family and friends to move products or to promote stuff. Make your product for everybody, and don't place expectation on family that because I make this, you must buy it.
Support.
It doesn't work like that. It must be a product that they want, not because they're family, but because they actually do want it, And but we shouldn't place that weight on family to say that I'm doing this, support me. Yes, they should in their own right. If they want to, willingly, voluntarily, they should. But I think as an entrepreneur, you have to have confidence in your product that, okay, it might not appeal to this group of people, but it will definitely appeal to this group of people, and they will move it in that direction, not expecting that Amaini is going to buy, Tete is going to buy, and they will move the product for me. No, it will strain relationships. So just have create something that you're confident in that appeals to anybody, appeals to everybody, and use the marketing platforms and all. You learn as you go. You learn on the job, and I think that's the best. They say experience is the best teacher. That's as you're learning stuff, you become better, and also you can leverage off other people's experience as well. Start talking to people that have done what you want to do. Hear their challenges. You don't have to go through them as well. They can tell you their solutions. Listen. Just being able to listen to what people have to say, not being stuck up, and sometimes you have to compromise on certain things to get stuff going. You do what you have to do. Do what you have to do.
No, that's so great.
Yeah.
No, thank you guys so much. That was really beautiful. And
Thank you.
thank you for making the time. I know you guys have a really busy schedule. So thank you for joining our platform. And that is the episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And please, just to end, where can people find the game?
Okay, so we are available on social media. We don't have a website yet, but you can find us on Twitter at Zimsecond, on Instagram at Zim _second, on Facebook Zimsecond, and if you want to buy it, we're available in the avenues. It's $20 a set. In Zimbabwe, if you want to get it and you're outside of Zimbabwe, just DM us and we will get it to you. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you so much, and we'll definitely plug all the links to everything.
Thank you.
With the post that accompanies the episode.
Yes.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Great. That was perfect.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Good.
I'm glad you enjoyed.
I will just show you what the board looks
Oh, yeah.
looks like. We were just going through the cards yesterday, so I took them out of the plastic. But this is basically what you would get. You get cards,